Hey guys, and welcome back to a new CameraX video. As I promised in the last video, in this video you will learn how you can record videos directly inside of your app with your very own camera feed. So in particular, this will be a simple setup here where we have a video button, and if we click this video button, then the recording will start. We can do something here, whatever you want. If you click it again, then you can see video capture succeeded, and the video will be saved in your internal storage on the device. I will also show you where you can find this, and because displaying that here in our bottom sheet as well would be a bit complex and also not be related to CameraX anymore. This is again something I showed in my storage playlist how you can really save something persistently on the device to also display it. But here this video really focuses more on recording a video and then saving it, or at least being able to save it somewhere. So if that sounds good to you, please make sure to check out the initial code below. If you haven't followed the last video, I highly recommend you to follow the last video where we covered switching the camera here, where we covered opening this gallery and saving photos there and actually taking photos. So if we switch the camera, for example, take a photo, then you can see it will appear here. That is what we've done in the last video. And in this video, we already have the foundation with that. So you can also learn how we can record videos with CameraX. So we are going to add this video call button, which we did not do in the previous video yet. By jumping inside of this code, make sure to check it out on GitHub or just open your previous project. And here, for this last icon button, for taking a photo and to copy that and paste it. And in this case, we want to call this record video. And the icon would be video cam. And in order to record a video, what we need is a recording object. That comes from CameraX. So private var recording, which is a recording. So that is basically an active recording, an active video that is going to be recorded and contains information about that. So initially that's null, but as soon as we start recording, we of course want to assign something to that. So we now scroll down. Below this take photo function, we can have an additional function to record a video. That again will take our controller, and here we want to first of all check if the recording is not equal to null. So that means we hit record while the recording was already in progress. In that case, we want to stop the recording. So recording that stop, we set it to null again, and we return out of this function. So that means we just want to stop the recording and now save the video. Then, if we don't have all the required permissions, like camera and recording audio, we also want to return out of this function. And we should actually also take this and add this as a little safety measure here for our take photo function. I forgot that in the last video. But if we now go to our record video function, we can use our controller dot start recording. And there are a bunch of these overloads. You can see each of these returns this recording object. So I want to say start recording and assign the return value to our recording object. And what do we now want to specify here? Well, first of all, output options. Because for videos, there is not an in-memory data type, as of my knowledge, like we have for photos. So here we have bitmaps, which you can perfectly store in memory, but a video does not have a data type for that out of the box at least. So we can only record a video by directly saving it on the file system, which is also good since videos are typically quite larger than photos. And the first option here, file output options, is if we just want to store everything in a file. That is what we're going to use since we want to store something in internal storage. It's always the easiest form of storage since it doesn't need any permissions. But if you really want to add your photo, or add your video rather, to the real gallery, so that you can also see it in the next to your real photos and your real photo gallery, then you would need to use Media Store, which allows you to just insert something like a video, a photo into your real gallery with all its metadata that belongs to it. So we're going to use file output options, and we're going to use its builder, and the builder takes in the file we want to save the video at. And we can create this here. Output file is a new file. Where do we want to save this? Well, we're going to use our application context dot. Actually, we don't need the context here instead of an activity. We can just use the files directory, which is our internal storage. And then the child, so the file name would be my recording.mp4. This will now get overridden every time we make a new recording, which I think is what we want, since we don't want to pollute our file system with unnecessary videos. But of course, you could also set it up in a comparable way like we did in our view model, just with a persistent storage that you have a list of videos. In a real setting, you would of course want to keep the recordings if you want to display these somewhere. So we're going to pass our output file here, call.build, and the next parameter is our audio config. This will be audio config dot either audio disabled if you want to record without audio, or we say .create enable audio is true. And then we can get to the last parameter. Actually, not the last one. There's one more. The executor, we had that in the previous video already, which you can get with context compat, get main executor, and we pass in our application context. And last but not least, the listener. So that is what gets triggered when the recording is finished. We get these video record events there, and we can just create a new listener. I think we can also just make that a lambda like this. You can see we get video record events in here, and then we can check these in the when expression. Can we see which events there are? No, but there's actually only one event or two events we want to be notified about here. On the one hand, video record event.finalize, which is called when the video is going to be finished. And it must be is, I think. Yes. We also get an error here. Call requires permission. Yes, because Android Studio does not recognize that we already checked for permissions in here. So we can just add the annotation to ignore this. So Alt-Enter, suppress this permission check. And then we get rid of the warning or the error. Getting back into this when expression, we now want to check if the event has any errors. We want to close the recording. So if something just went wrong, we want to set the recording back to null. And we might just want to show toast.makeText, application context, video capture failed, for example, and toast.length long, and we call that show. And you could also get the actual cause, so the throwable here. So if you want to add a log statement, feel free to do that to actually find out what the real error is. But if there is no error, which there hopefully isn't, we want to jump into this else block and just also show a toast. A video capture succeeded this time. And if we go up here to our record video icon button, here we of course don't want to call take photo, but rather record video with our controller, then this should already be everything we need to do. Of course, if you want to update your UI based on the recording state or so, you would need to update that here in the record video function. So your view model state, maybe to show a little red circle like you know it from recording a video. Then you would need to update it here, or rather hide it in this case. And here you would need to show it. So basically just a Boolean state. And then you check, okay, if the state is true, then you show the little red bubble, and otherwise not. But I would say we try this out. Definitely make sure you have this video capture enabled here. This was very hard to find. I think this is not very good usability for the developers here, that you need to explicitly enable video capture, and especially with this function, because for me it doesn't sound like this is a function which enables video. I would rather expect something like is video capture enabled, and we set that to true, but that's a val, so we can't do that. Or I would expect something like enable video capture, but it took me a while to find the set enabled use cases function here, which you need to use to enable this. So let's go in here in Visor and switch the camera. Let's take a look. Switch the camera. I want to record a video. I hit record and nothing crashes. That seems cool. And if we now hit record again, we should hopefully get a successful toast. Video capture succeeded. That is looking good. How do we now get access to the video that was saved in our internal storage? We can do this with the device file explorer. So on the right side for me, there is not the device explorer. So on the left side for you probably, here under this more tool windows, click this and open the device explorer. This is basically your device's file system. Make sure your emulator or your real device is selected. And we can find the internal storage files under data. I think it's app. No, it was data. And here we now need to search for our package name. So in my case, that is CameraX guide. There it is. We want to open this, and under files is our internal storage for that app. So as you can see, there's our recording. And if you right click on that and click save as, you can save that on your machine. So I will save that somewhere, what I don't want to show you, on my desktop, save. And then if we open this, then let's see what we recorded. There we go. Here's our video. As you can see, everything seems to be fine. I also hear audio. I don't know if you hear that as well. But our recording works. You just recorded a video with CameraX. But this is by far not everything you can do with CameraX. As I've promised, in the next video, we're going to build a real AI app with which you can recognize popular landmarks in your area. So definitely don't miss that one. In case you are an Android developer who is looking for becoming an industry-ready Android developer, definitely also don't miss my more advanced Android premium courses down below, which are made to prepare you for the industry. And other than that, thanks so much for watching. I will see you back in the next video. Have an amazing rest of your week. Bye bye.